And I saw this advert pop up on LinkedIn saying, oh, wow, property investment consultant.
And it looks like you don't have much time to think about it.
It certainly has been, I would say, the exact opposite in these last 6 months of what I expected it to be. I would say probably after my first month.
What would you do differently this time?
Absolutely nothing. I would not change a single day for the world. Not at all.
Welcome to the Riseup podcast. I'm happy to have you on a podcast for the very first time.
Thank you.
Now, Shashank Iyer, who's 23 years old, has been with us over the last 6 months. I think this is his first entry, first foray into the world of real estate.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you a bit about your entry into the real estate market. Explain us and take us through your journey. Why did you get into it? What's the background that you come from? Because obviously we get a lot of people who come into this field wanting to venture into the world of real estate, but they don't know how exactly it's going to pan out. So you want to understand a bit from you about the kind of journey that you've had so far.
Absolutely. I mean, first things first, I'll be totally honest with you. This was super instinctive. I mean, I had not pre planned this. I never had any intention of getting into real estate from the start. Um, as per my background, I mean, I'm a psychology student. That's what I did at university. And I've always been a people's person. I've always loved interacting with different kinds of people from different kinds of cultures. And I've always also had this aspiration to get that into the world of finance. So I love the concept of money. I think, financial knowledge or just being financially aware of your own situation as well as what's happening out there in the world is essential. And I just thought maybe this might be the perfect opportunity to bridge those two things. I believe in the phrase, two worlds collide, and then whatever happens, happens, right? In my case, my knowledge and my experience from psychology, my education, as well as my aspiration, as well as my interest in finance, sort of brought me to this, point of intersection wherein I was like, okay, I can actually apply this in real estate because you're interacting with people on a day-to-day basis. You're understanding what's going on in their minds. You're trying to play around with, I wouldn't say play around, but at least you're trying to empathize with what they're feeling in terms of their emotions. And at the end of the day, it's all about money. People want to grow their wealth in real estate. People want to either take crazy risks in this market and go for it. Other people are much more secure and risk averse. And that's where I feel like I could add value. And I was like, you know what, let me just give it a shot and let's see how it goes. I mean, I probably won't regret it. It would just be a learning experience for me and something that, I could potentially excel at. And obviously, I mean, talking to a few other friends as well who have been doing this, say, for about 6 to 12 months longer than I have, I've seen them grow in this market and them being successful at it, reaping the rewards, every month or two. Of course, it's a long term game. You don't win quick, but just getting that additional motivation from them sort of pushed me to go for this opportunity. But that's how I've sort of landed up in real estate and planning on staying here for, let's see how many more days, months, weeks, years to come. Yeah.
So you say you landed up in real estate, but did you think a lot about getting into this field? Because you're a young lad, right? So at the age of 23, you probably graduated from university a couple of years ago. Did you get into a different job? And is that when you realized that this is not for you, you want to get into real estate? Or is this something that you didn't really plan to do and you were probably just giving interviews? And is this something that you stumbled upon? What was the thought process behind getting into it?
Indeed. I mean, you mentioned the right word, stumbled upon. I literally stumbled upon a role like this on LinkedIn when I was just doom scrolling through it all day long. It was coming to the point of, I wouldn't say desperation, but more so frustration that I wasn't landing up where I aspired to get into in terms of getting into wealth management or doing something more, heavily finance related, right? Um, I never thought of myself as a person who would be invested in a concrete jungle, as what they call, places like Dubai, places like New York. I never thought this is something that I'd be talking to people about on a day to day basis, how this builds your own portfolio, this grows your bank account. I never really understood that side of things. So literally, it was an opportunity that I came across, and I thought to myself, and I was actually, in my room on my bed, just taking it easy on like a Sunday afternoon. And I saw this advert pop up on LinkedIn saying, "Oh wow, property investment consultant, we're hiring. This is how you add value to clients who are looking to invest in the market." And it's not just about selling them something or getting them to just put their money. It's you taking them through from point A to point Z in terms of how they can go about it without actually taking a lot of risk and growing their wealth securely. And I said, okay, fine, you know what, if I'm able to get this exposure now, and then down the line when I actually want to break into wealth management, I could really utilize some of this experience. So that's how I came across this opportunity. It was never really planned.
So, and it looks like you don't have much time to think about it. But from your experience in terms of talking to other friends of yours who, as you've mentioned, have been in this field for the last 6 to 12 months, now that you've been in it 6 months yourself, has the experience been something that you anticipated it to be? Or what's really surprised you about this field that you really didn't expect whatsoever?
So I actually came into this without any kind of expectations. I started with a clean slate, and I said, let time do its thing, and let me sort of just ride the wave, right? It certainly has been, I would say, the exact opposite in these last 6 months of what I expected it to be. I would say probably after my first month, I thought, wow, okay, this is hard. I'm young. People aren't going to trust me with their money. They're going to look at me, they're going to hear my voice, and they're going to think, okay, he's just come out of school or college or university, and we're dealing in millions right now. Do we really want to trust this guy? Do we even want to talk to him? And then there was this one point, I would say, probably in my first 45 to 50 days, wherein I was like, okay, I've kind of committed to this now and I've gone in with both feet, but is this really for me and can I make it? And just seeing people around me, in my day-to-day work environment, succeeding. I don't want to use the term deal, but closing transactions and building client relationships and creating that enriching experience over time for their clients. I thought, wow, this is going to take me minimum 3 to 4 years to actually get into this game. But I mean, ever since these last 2 3 months have gone by, once you get the ball rolling, there's just no stopping. For me personally, it was never really about looking at how much money is in the market. For me personally, it was more about chasing the entire sort of transaction from A to Z, getting to that point of closure wherein you satisfy your client in terms of what they're looking for. I think that is, as they call it, intrinsic motivation. I'm not somebody who sort of looks at what's there for me in terms of the rewards or fiscal reward, as they call it. For me, it's just the satisfaction of seeing somebody happy after I've done them a service, and creating that everlasting relationship. So that's what drives me, that's what motivates me. But within the last 6 months, there have been so many changes. It's been a roller coaster. I started with no knowledge, with absolutely no expectation. I thought, okay, I might be regretting what I'm doing, but ever since, there hasn't been any looking back.
So money is not a motivation, yeah.
Not at all. I mean,
So
there might
even
be
even if you continue to close transactions and don't make any money out of it, you're happy.
there might be a bulk of you out there who are my age, who obviously are visionaries, who are aspiring entrepreneurs, who want to establish themselves and make a name for themselves and probably turn out to be a celebrity. I've never been that kind of person. I'm very grateful in my life to have parents who have gone through a lot of hardship, over their career in their upbringing, and they've made it here in Dubai. And touch wood, we live comfortably, so I don't have any kind of financial obligation, as such, wherein I just have to close deals or treat it as something wherein I'm hard selling and I have to make money. It's really not my goal presently. Of course, everyone wants to succeed, everyone wants to be financially independent, but at this point in time, the quality of experience that I'm receiving is number one. It stands
Mm.
head and shoulders above the rest. And I'm just honestly honing my soft skills on a day-to-day basis. I'm learning about what's happening around the world, not just in Dubai,
Mm.
which really opens up my perspective, gives me a lot of exposure, and I feel much more confident speaking to people double my age.
Mm.
So
So you've obviously been in it for 6 months, right? Let's say you could restart this entire experience or journey again. What would you do differently this time?
Absolutely nothing. I would not change a single day for the world. Not at all. I mean, I've gone through days wherein as I mentioned, I've been questioning what I've got into. There have been days where I've just been pulling my hair out, sitting, trying to get in touch with people, trying to get them to even answer my calls.
Mm,
I've been waiting for the day wherein somebody even sort of reciprocates my energy on a
mm,
phone call or even in person. I've been waiting for the day where people think I'm a credible source and I'm competent enough to handle their money.
mm,
But all that has come with a lot of determination, a lot of grit,
mm,
a lot of patience, and a lot of me developing a thick skin.
mm.
I really would not change a single day, so far that I've had in the last 6 months.
Okay, so let me phrase this a bit differently. You've been doing this for some time now.
Yeah,
What exactly would you give as an advice to someone starting this now in their life where they have no prior experience based on what you've experienced over the last 6 months?
right.
What kind of advice that you would give to them at this point of time?
Couple of things actually. Couple of things that I would share that have helped me personally. I never used to be somebody who was very outgoing or extroverted. I'm a person who tends to be reserved in certain social situations when I'm surrounded by people at sort of initial perception where I think, okay, they might be of a different social status, or they might come across as a little more smarter than I am. So I tend to refrain from sort of opening my mouth and contributing to a lot of conversation, right? So in that sense, this has really opened up my perspective, and I've had to push myself in that direction, giving myself a slight nudge, saying, listen, you have nothing to lose. Just open up your personality, say what's coming from within, and literally be natural. When you talk to somebody, there's a common phrase in real estate, especially for starters: fake it till you make it. You have to take that not with a grain of salt, but with a bucket of salt. You fake it till you make it with very few things. But in terms of your actual personality and what you tell people, you've literally got to be yourself, be natural, 100% authentic. And I think I have really sort of stuck to those values. And that's what's helped me break out of my shell as such, and made me a lot more comfortable in terms of my own skill, my ability, and what I'm really doing. And obviously, the second thing, as I mentioned, just perseverance, hard work, grit, determination. Real estate is a long term game. It does not happen overnight. If you're lucky, literally millions will fall on your head while you're sleeping on your pillow. But especially when you're starting out, you've got to put your heart and soul into it, and you really have to stay patient. As they say, let time work its way on money. Same way, let time do its thing on your experience and you establishing yourself in this market.
You touched upon finance and wealth earlier, and I'm guessing that you probably have a background when it comes down to finance and wealth in terms of your education. But having that kind of a background, where do you think it places you? Does it give you some kind of edge within this field? And where does that element exactly play a role within the world of real estate? Because a lot of people enter this world of real estate being a property consultant, advisor, without having that kind of a background. You obviously have
Yep.
that, and you've laid some emphasis on those particular terms. So, where do you think it's added value for you?
I mean, I absolutely agree with you in terms of a lot of people get into this market not having sufficient knowledge to bring to the table, just in terms of overall finance, right? I think it plays a huge role, and it gives you an even bigger edge and sets you apart from a lot of the other sort of advisors or consultants in this market, because you're talking money, you're talking the name of money. Money is not just something that you put into property, it's something that you put into every single thing that's around you. There are a lot of asset vehicles, as we obviously know. I mean, there's a stock market. You invest in government bonds, you invest in commodities, you invest in gold, you carry cash around you, and you invest in real estate, obviously. So people are well versed already with all these different asset vehicles or asset classes. And the name of the game these days is to diversify your wealth, right? Nobody's going to put 100% of their savings into one thing. God forbid it crashes or it comes falling down. I mean, they're stuck in a hole. So everything is about diversification. So I'm not saying be a subject matter expert at all of them, but having that basic understanding of how those markets operate, what's going on around, in the world, all those things really add value. I mean, these days we talk about how, global economies are performing, right? How we incentivize people outside of UAE, for example, in European countries, to invest here in Dubai. I mean, their currencies have become stronger as the dollar has slightly weakened. Our currency here, dirhams, is pegged to the US dollar. So anything that happens to the US dollar does not really have an instant hit or a direct impact on us. So this market already seems much more attractive and much more favorable to international investors. So literally just speaking, that's sort of a topic, or framing your conversation in that kind of way adds a lot of value. I mean, they see that you're just not stuck in this tunnel of trying to sell a house or sell four walls around you. They're actually there to appreciate and admire that you're actually looking out for their overall wealth and their financial well-being. So that, I feel, gives people an edge, and I would really recommend to everyone out there, honestly, you don't have to read books, or you don't have to study any kind of material. Literally go on Instagram, watch a couple of reels. There are a few good Netflix shows as well on how to improve your financial literacy, grow your wealth for somebody starting out. It's very good, in my opinion, at least in today's world, to be aware of what's happening around you, because at the end of the day, I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I said money doesn't mean much to me at this point. Ultimately, it gets you to the place you want to be in life. So, yeah.
Being in your early 20s, how important do you think does social media play a role in this field that you're in within real estate? I mean, obviously, we all know the impact that it's had over the last few years, right, within every field. But as per your knowledge and as per your understanding so far, how important of a role do you think it's going to play, and do you feel you're active user of it, or and do you feel within the time you've spent in real estate, it's a make or break kind of a thing, or what's your thought process around that?
So I'd like to offer three different perspectives to this, right? Number one is how people within real estate, in terms of the consultants or advisors, use social media to their advantage. It's a game changer. You're able to reach out or extend your hand to people who you're unable to get through to in organic way. Back in the day, at least what people much older than me have told me, was the fact that they went door to door knocking on people's houses to say, hey,
Mm,
I'm in real estate, are you looking to buy or sell your house? You don't have to do any of that legwork anymore. I mean, your outreach is extended all over the globe.
mm,
So in that way, you're able to market yourself, put yourself out there, and people obviously view you on their sort of for you page or on their algorithm. You pop up, and yeah, I mean, that's a great way of using social media as a tool to assist you in what you're doing. The drawback, though, that I have experienced on social media, me personally being in real estate, is that a lot of people in the market right now use social media really as just a marketing ploy, um, obviously with a negative connotation attached to it, right? Everyone's looking for a quick sale, quick payday. So there are a lot there's a lot of misinformation spread out there in the market. I don't mean to say one thing is wrong and one thing is right, but I can empathize with the buyers or investors as well, wherein a lot of people in real estate market certain products as false or with misinformation, right? They might say the price of something is this, whereas the price of that thing is actually that. So you're kind of putting people, or you're shooting yourself in the foot and getting off on the wrong foot with your prospective client, and hurting that relationship from the start. So I feel like it needs to be used in a smart way, but I wouldn't want to misinform whoever I am speaking to, especially if I'm having an initial conversation with them, for the first time. So yeah, those are the two perspectives. And as per the last one, it's just slipped my mind, but I'll get back to you when it crosses my mind again.
yeah, you
Yeah.
have to complete it now. Yeah, we're not going to let it slide to the next time. Okay, last thing that I want to talk to you about, and this is it's a conversation that you and I had quite recently. I remember you came up to me, I think, last week, and you spoke about property investment at a personal level. Now, buying a property for your own self as an investment, do you think that this is something that you've always been considering and always been thinking about, or has this come to your mind more since you've been in the field of real estate and seeing yourself helping and guiding investors to do exactly that has driven you to want to do it for yourself as well?
Very much the latter. I mean, I had zero knowledge about real estate while growing up. I was never an inquisitive person in that sense. When my parents used to invest in real estate back home in India, I mean, if they bought property in India, it would just be a topic of conversation at the dinner table, where I am fully zoning out of it, enjoying my food and going to sleep. And recently, I mean, we've sold a couple of properties in India itself, and it's given me a lot of perspective. And now I'm able to add value, or add to that conversation where they're discussing about, oh, was this the right time to sell, or did we get the right price for it? How was the experience in terms of getting that property offloaded? What do we do with with that money now? Do we invest that somewhere else? I think it's definitely the latter, wherein, as I've come into this field, as I've gained that exposure, speaking to a lot of people, and also realizing a bit of success on the way, and seeing that people leave with a smile on their face, but leave temporarily, because this relationship, as I mentioned, is everlasting. It's not like I want to do something for you today and then never speak to you ever again after this. This has really given me a lot of confidence and obviously a lot of knowledge in terms of the real estate market in Dubai. And I have been considering, saving up a lot of, or enough sufficient capital or equity for myself to invest in this market. I mean, since I've been in it 6 months, by no means am I saying I'm a real estate guru or I'm super experienced, but I know my way around now. I know what are the areas, what are the projects, what are the developers, to target. Considering I have only got X amount of money with me, I'm by no means am I a billionaire or a trillionaire, but I have a lot of capital to play around with. But I
Not
think
yet.
I
Not
know,
yet.
not yet, not yet. Hopefully soon, though. Maybe by the time the next podcast comes out with me. But yeah, I feel pretty confident. It's just I need to get myself to start, and I obviously have to consult with my parents, my family, the people who mean a lot to me. I mean, real estate investment is not a small thing. It's not a decision that you take with a blink of an eye.
By all
By
means.
all means, I mean, people take years and they miss out on opportunities. People take months and they time the market just like how you time the stock market. So it's definitely something that's on my mind. I'm giving it some further thought. uh, let's see where it goes. Yeah,
Would you, for your own property purchase, would you use yourself as the property advisor? Or would you use me?
I definitely consult with you.
I like that.
i
That's a good
I
answer.
definitely
That's a good
consult with
answer.
you because you've been doing this for eons now. But ultimately it is within the hands of the person who is going to be investing that money into a project to decide ultimately whether they want to go for it. There's only so much you can do to hold my hand and guide me in the right way, tell me, okay, this is what you must avoid and this is what you could do. Right now I say must avoid because you're much more of an expert compared to me, but this is what you could do is your advice. You're not forcing it upon me. Ultimately, you're still giving me that power within my hands for me to take that decision. And I think that's another key thing. Empower your clients. Don't make them feel like you're the master, you know nothing. Let me drag you into this and leave you there to rot. No, just empower them, give them all the tools, ultimately allow them to take their time to consider it, and then they'll see the value in you. So,
I'd definitely charge you double though.
double?
Yeah, definitely.
You
Did
better be prepared for a kickback.
we'll sort that out next. Are you ready with the third element that you missed out in between?
So, your question was about the usage or the advantage of social media in this day and age, right?
Yes. Well, what is your thought process?
My
So the third element.
my third element, which actually was another part of your question, was how active I am on social
Mm,
media, right? Me personally, I'm a passive consumer of social media. I
mm,
don't engage in a lot of active posting or commenting on people's posts on social media. I'm a very passive consumer of it, so I'll just keep scrolling until
Mm,
I sort of get bored or I've got something important to do or right before I fall asleep.
mm,
It's like my bedtime routine, right? But having said that, a lot of the people who actually get into the mindset or the framework of investing in real estate, at least considering it, sorry, are the ones who sort of passively go through their social media. I don't think anybody who hunts for a particular opportunity on the market would come across any such thing like that on social media. At least that's the way I see it, considering, I'm part of the new Gen Z community, speak to a lot of friends, they keep saying the
mm,
same thing as well. They're in completely different industries. They have no inclination to do anything, with real estate at all. They don't consume such material, but inevitably it just pops up on their feed, and then they I come to the top of their mind,
mm,
and they say, okay, you know what, Shashank is in real estate. I've been speaking to my parents about the market right now. They don't know what to do with their money.
mm,
Why don't we give him a call and have a chat with him? Let me call him home.
mm,
And I've gone to my friends' places, over the weekends. I've sat down with their parents, which I never thought I'd do growing up.
mm,
Um, and we've just had open conversations about how the market's performing, what they're doing with their money, and they feel comfortable now opening up to me. Nobody would really talk to their son or daughter's
mm,
friend from school about their personal finances. But I think, they've come to realize that, I've been doing this now for 6 months. They've seen me grow as a person, as well as, career wise. And they've seen that, okay, I can actually do this and I have the confidence to talk to people about it. I know what I'm saying. So
That's an
that's
amazing feeling. I'm guessing
it
that's
it
an
feels
amazing
it
feeling.
feels great. I mean, there's that sense of achievement that
Mm,
that you feel, right? I mean, you've made it from knowing absolutely nothing about the
mm,
market technically to doing this day in and day out
mm,
with full confidence, at the end of the day, I mean, people say there's a lot to lose on the table, but I don't like to put that pressure on myself. I tell myself that there is nothing to lose. Just be myself. Whoever I have a conversation with, that conversation is not going to be the same between person one and person two.
mm,
That's what I do, and I think social media has really brought myself closer with other
mm.
people and has connected me with them to get talking about real estate.
It's
So
interesting. It's a very nice, very interesting thought process.
yeah.
Okay, the last thing that I want to ask you, and I'm gonna leave after that. For anyone starting off within this field, what's the number one challenge do you think that they should be prepared to face? Obviously, you ventured into this field. There are certain unknowns that you encountered that had you known before, maybe you would have been better prepared. I don't know. But from your own perspective, for anyone watching out there who's thinking about getting into the world of real estate, what's that one element that you would really tell them be prepared for, or really get yourself ready for you to have a sort of a sustainable journey as a property consultant and not get disheartened and get out of it soon enough.
So let me coin this as 3 R's: rejection and ruthlessness in real estate.
Rejection and ruthlessness in real estate. Okay, so take us through what exactly does this mean?
Rejection, as you mentioned, don't get disheartened. Everybody's first answer is no.
Mm,
I myself am like that. My parents asked me to do something, my friends asked me to do something. I'm always averse. I'm always going to say no. But eventually I will come around to it. And I'm working on that. It's a personal problem.
mm,
I'm not a risk seeker. So yeah, I'm trying to get over that. But rejection. Everyone will say no at the start. Nobody wants to take that risk with you. You try and ask them in the sweetest way. You try and go all in. You're going to get 100 no's before you get your first yes. Whether it's getting your first listing to just put somebody's property on the market without any guarantee or certainty that you'll be able to sell it for them, or whether you're trying to pitch an off-plan project to them, first answer is always going to be no. I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the energy, I don't have the interest, and I don't trust you. Rejection. That is number one. That's the number one thing that you need to be prepared to face, and that's something that you need to embrace, right? So, moving on to ruthlessness. People obviously don't have a lot of patience, and I don't think people in real estate are perceived or looked at in the most positive light. There are a ton of people working in real estate in Dubai itself, and a lot of prospective buyers or sellers are getting bombarded with calls every single day.
Mm.
So there's only a certain limit or a certain patience tolerance that they've got before they pick up your phone and they absolutely either abuse you, or they threaten to report you, or they threaten to block you. Right now, these prospective clients can be ruthless in that way. So you've got to develop a thick skin. Shouldn't react, shouldn't go on the aggressive or the defensive. Take it as it comes. You might have just caught them at the wrong time, but be prepared for all of this, right? Everyone out there in the market is ruthless. At the end of the day, money is a very sensitive topic. Everyone wants to grow their wealth, nobody wants to lose. It's all about building that trust, right? And allowing it time. Let that relationship grow organically, but you're going to have to overcome all these hardships or obstacles in the way. Everyone's different, everyone's got their own temperament, everyone has their own moods throughout the day. It's all about catching them at the right time. So that's the luck element, and also things within your control. How do you come across as a trustworthy person? How do you come across in a friendly and a positive way, rather than just trying to hard sell them something? It's like car salesman. I don't want somebody to just pick up the phone and I start telling them about all its features, about what speed it can go at. No, I want to build that relationship organically, right? That's the approach that I take. And yeah, this is what happens in real estate. So that completes the coinage of 3 hours.
This is amazing, man. I had a really, really good conversation. Shashank wasn't my first choice for this podcast, but I'm glad I did do this with him. Got such good clarity, you've got such good confidence, and for someone who's been in this field just for 6 months, I honestly sometimes feel you've got more knowledge than someone who's been in it for multiple years. So I think that's brilliant, and I think this your journey in real estate and your sort of knowledge of it, your excitement around it, your curiosity around it is a massive kind of inspiration for a lot of newcomers coming into this field. So if anyone out there has any kind of question before they venture into this world of real estate, this is your man. This is the guy you want to ask, because he's been through it. He's done it. I'm sure he's done some difficult transactions. Maybe that's something else we'll talk about at a later date. And yeah, man, it's amazing. I'm so happy that we had this conversation, and keep shining. And I hope you're a source of inspiration for a lot of people who are starting new out there.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's been a pleasure. Just before we wrap this up, I just want to finally add, surround yourself with people who are knowledgeable, people who can add value to what you're doing, especially if you're trying to break into something. Identify a mentor and look up to them and follow what they say. Obviously, I mean, have a little bit of authenticity and innovation, but they're the experts. They're there to guide you, and I'm lucky to have you and a few others on our team to have shown me the way and pointed me in the right direction. I've only achieved all of this through their mentorship. So I mean, I came into this market
Good
with
man.
zero. I'd like to think I'm somewhere around 60, 70, but there's still a lot more to learn. So that's
You're
all.
not talking about Ali, right? You're specifically not talking about Ali, right? Right
Ali,
now?
Ali adds to the sort of light
Oh, okay.
nature,
Okay.
at
Are you
our
sure?
workplace.
Okay. Okay.
That's what gets me going in the morning. So without him, I mean, I wouldn't have the energy to talk to anyone. But yeah,
It's okay.
that's all I'll say
Don't
about
worry.
him.
You don't need to say good things about him. He's not going to be watching this. You don't need to say good things about him. But nice. I had a amazing conversation. So again, if anyone wants to reach out or ask any questions about getting into this field, this is the guy. Thank you.
Thank you.